Well, all right. Welcome to CAPECAST. Alan, how you doing tonight?
Good, Brandon. How about you?
I'm great. Hang on.
Alan.
There we go.
Yeah.
I almost forgot.
I knew something felt off. There we go.
Yeah.
That was it.
Now we're good. Yeah, I'm good. Let's see. It's Tuesday, and I am here with you once again on CAPECAST. Sans Ryan.
Yep.
Sans is the word that we use in the biz when we say without. I'm a graphic designer, so there's sans serif without serifs. Sans Ryan without Ryan. You get it. Yeah, so for those of you that don't know, Ryan is he's been hit or miss on the CiNEMACHiNE podcasting as of late because of the Braves. And they are hopefully, well, I guess whether tonight or tomorrow, this is all going to be over. So
he should be back. Yeah, he should be.
It shouldn't affect Thursday theoretically, but you never know. Something could happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, so for his sake and his sanity and just our own sanity, we're going to hope that the Braves pull this out and win it tonight. So hopefully that is the case. We'll see how that goes. How's your week been?
Good so far. Just got word Trey had basketball tryouts. I know it's hard to believe that I have a high school student as a child of mine, but he made the freshman basketball team. So
yeah.
So that's nice. Cool. Yeah.
Very
sports.
Cool. Yeah. Yay. Sports. Yeah. Nice. Well, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
I've already checked the schedule. No Tuesday night games. So I'm good.
Nice. Priorities, right?
That's right.
Well, that's good. I like where your head is. Yeah, I don't have the exact same week as you. I don't have a kiddo playing. Was that high school?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know, dude.
Man, you're old, man.
I really am.
But no, I mean we have cheerleading and football. Not playing football, but cheerleading for football. And I thought football was almost over this past weekend, and my nephew's team, who Luna cheers for, they ended up winning. So now we have another game because they go into the playoffs or whatever. And so since they won, now they're continuing to go forward. So
have you guys reached
just when I thought it was over?
That's what I was going to say. Have y'all reached the point where you're secretly hoping that they'll lose so it'll be over?
Oh no, I'm very vocal about it. I was rooting for the other team. I was rooting against my nephew. So I'm not ashamed to say it. Yeah, I'm ready for a break from that, but soon enough. Well, before we get started, let me go ahead and hit these socials. Once again, we're CAPECAST. You can find us on Twitter at CAPECAST Show. You can find everything that we do here on the CiNEMACHiNE Network at CiNEMACHiNEPod.com. There you'll find links to pretty much everything. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and Patreon. Subscribe to our Patreon. Throw us some dollars. We appreciate it. Any little bit helps. Yeah. Let's get into some news. Now, usually we start off with DC news. We don't really have any this week. Not anything that was super noteworthy.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess there was that story with Ava DuVernay saying that her New Gods movie was canceled because of some other director's use of the New Gods. I feel like that's kind of BS, personally.
I think so too. I think it was just a scapegoat.
Yeah, because I mean, her movie had been in development for a lot longer than what ZSJL coming out wasn't part of that plan. And so I don't see that. I mean, I guess there could be an instance where they were like, well, they used it in this, and we don't want to touch that property. As far as the New Gods characters, but I just feel like, knowing the history of that production, I just don't think they have much traction on it.
Yeah. And I mean, it could have, it could have been one of those situations where you have like the ZSJL Flash versus the Justice League Flash, how crappy ZSJL made the original theatrical cut. It could have been like that. She could have had Darkseid a lot wimpier than what we saw,
Now, yeah. Now, I personally haven't seen an Ava DuVernay project. I didn't see what is it? A
Wrinkle in Time.
Wrinkle in Time.
Yeah.
Selma. I know she did some TV stuff. I haven't seen that either. But
I attempted Wrinkle in Time, and it's very rare that I don't finish a Disney movie, but I have never finished it. Like I really wanted to, because I was genuinely interested. I liked the cast. I thought it was going to be cool, but it just never grabbed me and held on. It was too easy to walk away from. So.
I've heard similar things. Melissa was excited about that because she was a fan of the book. But yeah, I don't know. I heard too many like meh reviews. Just never checked it out. But anyway, so yeah, I mean, I guess that's really the only. I didn't even make a graphic for it because I didn't think we would really even touch upon it. But yeah, I just don't think. I don't know. I think that's an easy excuse to say, well, another director used, whatever. But I'm kind of. I think it's. It's probably, I mean, me personally, I think it kind of worked out for the best, because those type of projects that seem to be in like quote unquote development hell typically just never works out. So maybe it's probably best that she moves on to something different. Yeah. And maybe Wrinkle in Time was a good learning experience for her, because she came from a pretty smaller indie project with Selma.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at this at face value because I haven't seen them.
Yeah.
But when you look at that movie versus this big like Hollywood production, lots of special effects, and hearing that it didn't get reviewed well, and that was kind of a miss on her end, and maybe other factors too. Working in the studio model may have been an issue with her. Maybe she needs to do something smaller to kind of get her bearings and then work up to another project that big. But we're also seeing, we'll talk about it later, with Eternals, another Kirby project, or IP, I guess. That it may just be a thing where it's harder for these things to be translated to screen. We're looking at Eternals reviews coming in, and like I said, we'll get to it, but it doesn't seem to be striking a chord with audiences, at least critics. Or it seems to be mixed. So, and there could be a number of things that play into that. We'll both give our thoughts about that later. But yeah, being that New Gods is also Kirby, I don't know if there's a connection to be made there as far as just the type of IP that it is. Very, celestial, and like, lots of more high fantasy sci-fi type stuff. Could just be not as easily translatable to screen. So
yeah, that's kind of what I think as well. I don't know. My opinion is, you don't want to blow it early and it not, it just doesn't pan out and put a bad taste in viewers' mouths, to where they don't want to see it later. In another 5 years, there's no telling, what CGI will look like, and that's
I don't know. I mean, I feel like the technology's there, but as far as the scope of a project like that, I just wonder if. I mean, I guess it just depends on the approach. I mean, I would have told you, and I did say this whenever I was at Comic-Con in 2012. That's kind of a running joke here.
Yeah.
But when I was there is when they announced Guardians of the Galaxy. They just had concept art.
Mm-hmm.
And I was me and my buddy Kevin, who was there with me. We were just like, we didn't know anything about Guardians. And we were like, this looks ridiculous, like stupid ridiculous, like not in a good ridiculous way. But the approach was the right approach for that source material in terms of adaptation. And I think it worked out. So I feel like maybe there is an approach to do a New God centric story, but it's just got to be the right one that's going to translate well to mainstream audiences, not just hardcore audiences, because that's essentially who you're selling to. But I mean, and then, you know, for us, I assume we're both on the same page. I would just love to see more of that New God stuff that was in the Snyder realm of things, see that fleshed out, because that stuff was super interesting in all the dynamics, even at a very small, like hinting, you know, level.
Well, it's like it's like you said, or like we talked about last week, when I said that I liked Ezra as the Flash, and you were quick to point out you liked Ezra as the Flash in ZSJL, which is basically the exact same thing for me. That's what I'm saying. It had to, honestly, for me, it feels like Warner Brothers was looking at what Ava had down the pipe, and they were like, well, Zach's version just got really rave reviews. And
who knows?
We don't think yours is going to do that.
I would like to think that they would see the Zach version in a positive light, but by all accounts in the media, it doesn't seem that way.
They're downplaying it in the media anyway.
Yeah. So who knows? But
I don't know. I did see where on DC News, before we flip to Marvel, I did see where Andy Machete had posted a video where he was riding on this golf cart through the Warner lot. So I don't know if they may be heading in for a few reshoots of some stuff or what he was doing. So,
well, if he's on the Warner lot, he could have his like editing bay or something there. Who knows? Because they are in, I guess, post now, principal photographer. But I mean, they could very well be at some point. All these movies account for pickups.
Yeah.
And depending on the project,
reshooting the suit, who knows?
maybe. Yeah. So, well, anyway, that's really all we got for DC. But let's we got a few things on the Marvel doc today. So we'll just, some of these we can kind of breeze through. But some of them I'm sure will be a little more gestating than others. But first thing is some pretty fun news. Bill Murray is supposedly going to be in Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Your thoughts on this? Kind of came out of nowhere, but me personally, I'm for it. I mean, I love Bill Murray in anything.
I love me some Bill Murray, dude. Like he's one of those, you know, you have those celebrities that you'd love to just hang out with, and he's one of them for me. You know, like I'd donate a kidney to hang out with Bill Murray, probably. But his granddaughter was at Clemson. She was going to college there, and the College Game Day, when they were at Clemson for one of the football games, they picked him to be the celebrity guest picker. And so I went. I didn't even care about the Clemson. And I mean, and I love Clemson football, but I didn't even care about that game. I just went to go see him, and he was like shagging golf balls into the crowd, and you know, he tackled it was when Clemson played Notre Dame. He tackled the Notre Dame mascot. You know, like, I mean, he was killing it, dude. It's nice. I'd love to hang out with that guy.
Well, maybe you'll get your chance, because he is known to just hang out with people, just show up at house parties and weddings, and I love reading those stories about you know my night with Bill Murray type stories that pop up here and there. They've popped up pretty close around here. I think Charleston.
He's got a restaurant in Charleston. Yeah, and a home in Charleston. Yeah,
gotcha. Yeah, I mean, as far as this casting announcement, or not announcement, but he made this statement on like a interview or something, saying that he had shot some scenes. I think it's good. I personally enjoy the Ant-Man movies.
I do too.
I know they're. I mean, I wouldn't say that they're top tier. I think that I definitely, and I've said this before, but I've definitely am a little bummed that Edgar Wright didn't get to make his Ant-Man movie, because I think that would have been very special. But knowing how things go with Marvel and how each of these movies are slave to the other, I feel like he just wanted to do something that was very distinct and separate.
Yeah.
Like I think about the first Ant-Man and I think about that Falcon scene that's just kind of injected in there, like 3/4 of the way through. I'm like, yeah, this is probably something that he pushed back on and was like, no, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
But yeah, Bill Murray in a Marvel movie. Sure, sign me up.
He's a freaking he's a national treasure, man. Let's put him in any movie that he wants to be.
Yeah.
I'm all for it.
Exactly. Okay, so another thing that popped up, which is very, again, not a lot to kind of pull from it. For me, at least, maybe you'll find something. But a puzzle has, this is kind of the way these things happens. The toys end up giving us little clues as to what's going to come of these movies. Has revealed seemingly a villain for Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. What this is, I don't know. I'm getting Starro vibes just because of the big eye. But I don't know what villain this is supposed to be pointing to. Do you have any idea? The article that I found it in didn't either. So
I don't. I mean, the only thing that comes to mind is that when he's trying in the What If series, when he's trying to defeat the other magical beings to take their power, the thing with the tentacles that comes out at him at the beginning, that he ends up defeating there towards the end.
Sure.
Maybe I don't even know what it is, but maybe that's what it is. I really don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I saw the picture either, though, but I don't know.
Yeah, like I said, not a lot for me to kind of pull from or commentate on, but it is interesting. It's always I guess it's always not necessarily unfortunate, but I guess funny that we tend to get our first looks at things like this, or like characters or story beats or whatever, through toys, because all that stuff always ends up leaking ahead of any kind of production photography or trailers or whatever, because they have to have all that stuff in production well ahead of the promotional stuff. So it is bound to happen. All right, let's get into some Spider-Man stuff, because there's been a couple things that have kind of hit. Now this is a rumor, so take it with a grain of salt. But the rumor is that the reason why we haven't seen another Spidey trailer is because there's kind of a back and forth between the brass at Marvel Studios proper, which would basically mean Kevin Feige, and Sony Studios, in terms of if they should play their hand with those reveals of Toby and Andrew. If that is to be believed that they're in the movie, which they got to be in this movie. I don't think that, and we'll get into that too. That meme that you sent the other day of no way off of this bridge or whatever it was, is very telling that they keep releasing some, like, all the promotional material is just from this one location, it seems. And it's like, it's telling to me, because it's like they can't really show much else. Like they're having to be pretty intentional with what they play in terms of their hand. But what do you think? I mean, let's just say this rumor is true. Let's say that there's back and forth. And the argument was that Marvel Studios didn't want them to reveal it, maybe hint at it, but didn't want to show Maguire or Garfield. And Sony did. The obvious answer is they wanted to show it because they're trying to get butts in seats, especially if this is going to be theatrical only. They want people to show up. You don't have to worry about that as much with a property like this, because Spider-Man always does well, tends to, at least. But I understand the logic behind wanting to put out as much as possible, What do you think is the right move? Okay, you got to think about this two ways. As a hardcore, quote unquote hardcore fan that is in the mix, lives in this bubble of we kind of know things like this because we seek it out, and also look at it as average Joe that doesn't know and doesn't follow movies and just like would be in a theater or on watching the Monday Night Football and see a trailer that shows Toby and Andrew and Tom all in this one movie. Like, do you think they should play that hand or save it as a surprise? And by surprise, I mean for the people that aren't in the know.
I don't know. That's for me. I mean, for the people that aren't in the know, the Muggles, I would say, honestly, I feel like that first trailer was good enough to hook your general audience. I don't know that they need to show their hand. I personally don't want them to. I would love to wait and see that in the theater. That was one of my biggest gripes with BVS was that, I saw Doomsday before I ever even went to the theater, and that would have been an awesome, because I knew what that meant. I mean, even though I didn't know, I knew what was going to happen then. I was mentally preparing myself for Superman's death at that moment, when I saw that. So I don't know. I mean, for me, I think the trailer itself, I mean, obviously it's been viewed, it's one of the most viewed trailers on YouTube ever. So, I mean, I don't know that they need anything else like that. I don't know. That's just my opinion.
Well, yeah, I mean, I agree with you from our point of view. I just think they're going to end up showing it, or at least heavily teasing it. And again, I understand why. I'm not, I personally, I think the move is kind of a mix of both. Like maybe have more of a insinuating or hint at the existence of these characters for the diehards that are looking for it.
Yeah.
I mean, we're all looking for it. And it's kind of the worst kept secret at this point. I mean, we had supposedly there was the photo of the suits on a hanger that could or could not be real. I don't know. I mean, I could definitely see that being fake, but I could also see it being real. But it looked like it was outside, and I was like, man, it's not a very controlled set outside. I don't see a circumstance where they had these suits just hanging up, 3 suits randomly.
If anything, to me, it seems like just, I don't know. You've never seen this on any Marvel movie ever, but the one that Sony's involved with. So that kind of makes me feel like there's somebody on their side that's not quite as strict about things because like, I mean, I know you guys have talked to Chris about it before, and I know I've mentioned it, with us filming Spider-Man Homecoming, dude, ain't nobody having their phone out. You don't even have a phone. You put it in a zip bag and they lock it up till the end of the day. It just, I don't know. I just Marvel runs too tight a ship for these leaks.
Especially that the video of supposedly of Maguire on set in very high res quality that seemingly was proved to be accurate. That because of how high quality that was, I was like, all right, did they leak this intentionally to get some hype? Somebody like how does this happen if this is true? I don't know.
I don't know, but anyway, back to the trailer thing. If they do, it's got to be in a way where they don't give away it's got to be where they don't give away anything. Their voice in the background, you don't even see them. Like that's the way the trailer ends, something like that.
That's the thing about the first trailer is they don't really give a lot of the other. The Doc Ock is, I guess, the reveal. But again, I don't know if modern audiences make that connection. I really don't think they do. I think we give them a lot more, benefit of the doubt in terms of than we should as far as their remembrance or knowledge, or even knowing what connected universes really are. I mean,
Well, I mean, if you think back, that's what Spider-Man was 02. Spider-Man is so that dude. This, I mean, you got people that are old enough to vote that weren't even born when that movie came out. You know what I mean? Like that's a lot longer. That's a lot further away than you think it is. You know. But, also, I can't. The actor that plays Doc Ock, it just slipped my mind.
Alfred Molina.
Alfred. Yeah, he had actually come out and said that he was in it. So I feel like they were like, okay, well, we can at least throw him in the trailer because everybody knows. You know, like that. So I don't know if it was a big reveal just because he's going to be one of the more central villains in it, or if it was just because he had already kind of blew that and told everybody he was in it.
Yeah, well, and then you've got hints at Electro, and you've got the Green Goblin stuff. But even those things are so like Easter eggy in comparison to the Doc Ock reveal that I feel like they've got to do something to kind of explain things. There's some education that's going to have to come from a trailer standpoint in terms of getting casual audiences into understanding the scope of this, what this means for a movie, because we know what it means, but again, we're in a bubble. You have to disconnect from that. So
I just hope that, I don't know, like with everything, constantly on Twitter, constantly on Instagram, Facebook, I don't know that I could avoid it if another trailer came out. You know what I mean? I don't want to see it, but I don't know if I could avoid it. It's harder and harder with the way social media is now, just from 5 years ago to now. It's a whole lot harder to stay away from things.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I agree.
It's just me being selfish. I don't care what anybody else wants. I just don't want to see it.
I get it. Well, supposedly we're getting that trailer in a couple weeks. We did get one Sony Marvel trailer today. We'll get into that in a minute. We have a few other things to hit on. The last thing on the Marvel news front, till we get to those trailers, is Eternals is now rotten on Rotten Tomato, which marks for the MCU's first rotten movie. And I'm not saying this in any kind of, I'm not excited about that. I actually, as far as a Marvel project, look who it is. Well, there's a reason for that.
Let me do this.
Good reason for that, Al. You bring that up, Ryan. I'll let you know. No, it was kind of funny. Speaking of Al, we went and saw Dune together, and they had the Eternals trailer, and they played the second trailer, which is the more casual audience trailer.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Yeah, that looked like such a paint by numbers Marvel movie." I was like, "Yeah, I mean, that trailer is definitely more of that for that movie, as far as it kind of pulled all those elements. But they're doing something a lot different with this movie compared to the other Marvel movies." Like kind of taking the natural light approach for like a lot of their photography, and just making it feel a little, I guess, more grandiose. And but yeah, I mean that first trailer, which was very much a tone setter, I am assuming that it didn't have the kind of impact with modern audiences as they would have liked. And so that second trailer was like, all right, look at all the action. But yeah, the reviews have been kind of mixed. And I sent this text over to you guys whenever it was getting kind of middling reviews. I was like, you know what? Probably means I'm going to enjoy it, because I mean, honestly, and I doubt I'll see this in theaters, just because of life things going on right now, but because it comes out this weekend. But out of the MCU stuff, I feel like it does have things that speak to me tonally, aesthetically, and it does feel like it's different than a lot of the. And I mean, they have their formula in Marvel, and it's worked out for them. So kudos for getting that, and kind of churning that out movie to movie. It's worked out in their benefit, and I think. That's that's a positive for them. For me though, I've felt like I've just been yearning for something different, and especially some of the comparisons that I've seen some of the critics make to other things that appeal to my sensibilities.
Yeah,
this one could be one that is a surprise hit. Kind of like maybe it may end up having more of a cult fandom than a mainstream fandom, but. We love our cult fandoms around here, so
yes, sir.
But anyway, so is this a surprise to you that it didn't get glowing reviews across the board as most MCU films tend to do these days?
I mean, as as a DCEU fan, yes, it is surprising. But after watching that first trailer and seeing the tone, like you were saying, that they had set, if that tone is what they stuck with through the movie, no, I'm not surprised at all. I don't.
It's weird because it feels like it's going to be a mixed bag in terms of there's going to be a lot of like very director centric, there's going to be a take in certain parts of this movie, and there's going to be this injected MCU formula stuff, which I don't know. I would rather if you're going to hire somebody that has kind of, and I haven't seen Nomadland, but based on the things that I've heard about and seen just through clips and trailers of Nomadland and her directing style, I feel like you hire that person for a reason, and it tends to be the case where they do these types of things. They hire these people, and then they still want to micromanage and still want them. They still end up running it like a showrunner would on a TV show. And by doing so, you just can't. You risk a lot of creativity, and it's the trade-off. It's kind of it's always been the trade-off for Marvel, in my opinion, for MCU, because everything's so tightly knit, and you have to have all these setups and payoffs, and every movie is a slave to the next movie for the most part. You end up sacrificing a lot of that, distinctness that you can find. And say what you will about the DC movies or the Fox Marvel movies, but you don't get movies in my opinion, you don't get movies like Logan and X-Men Days of Future Past or the original X-Men movies, and on the DC front, the things that we you don't get the Dark Knight, you don't get BVS or ZSGL, Man Steel, all these movies that we hold in high regard, that are very much a take. And I don't know.
Yeah.
I hope that this movie ends up being more of a distinct vision than a slave to this, what we've kind of come to know with the MCU, which is just something that I'm kind of over with personally. I know a lot of people aren't. That's kind of obvious, but yeah, and that's why I'm more excited about projects like that and some of the other more self-contained stuff than another, another installment of, I don't know. I mean, like another Guardians movie or the Thor movie or whatever it is. Like, I'm more excited about these side stories, which is kind of why some of the TV stuff has been kind of hit or miss, because they've just felt like, just 9-hour setups for movies.
Yeah. And that's,
for the most
I guess that's my comparison at this point is like the Eternals, kind of like Britt had said earlier in our group text. I feel like I've seen a good bit of that movie already, just all the TV spots and trailers. Whereas Spider-Man No Way Home, I have no idea what's going to happen in that movie. And I like that, for me, some of the, like you were saying, some of the TV spots, some of the little small trailers, behind the scenes stuff, it seems like you're going to have your generic group of heroes. You're going to have the more stoic Batmans, and then you're going to have your funnier Flash characters and things like that. You know what I mean? Like it, for me, the more I see of it, the more it seems like their attempt at a SpiderVerse movie.
No, I mean, I agree. My only hesitation or like, I guess, moment of nervousness.
Resident.
Well, you got to be nervous about your damn kid.
Would be how many characters there are. Was it like 10 heroes or 8, 9? I don't know. There's a lot.
Yeah. And we just saw the 4-hour perfect version of that, so you've really got to.
True, but you didn't have to do all that legwork in one movie. You really only had to do the legwork for 3 characters that hadn't been introduced. So that's a lot different than every single character in this huge ensemble cast to have to. But
the thing that they've got going for them is this ensemble cast has literally been together since the beginning. So
that's true.
They're not having to form a team. They were already a team. They just kind of disbanded and went and did their own thing. So I feel like that you're going to see the explanation and the introduction of all the characters pretty quick. So that I don't know. I don't know. We will see. I'm cautiously optimistic. Like you said, I've kind of grown tired from the same Marvel, setup and reveal that they've done. I'm really anxious to see something different, and I really hope it is.
Same. Well, I guess we'll find out. Only a few more days till it's out, but we shall see. One other thing, we do have we have more Star Wars stuff once we get to trailers, but they did put out a poster for the Book of Boba Fett. This kind of came out. The trailer and the poster just kind of randomly dropped. Usually there's some sort of hey, we're getting this tomorrow, or it's coming soon. And this just came out out of nowhere. I think most people assumed it was going to be at the Disney Plus day. That's like a week or 2 away.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's
but
weird.
Yeah. So, but yeah, they put out this poster, which is a cool poster. You got Boba and Fennec. I think that's her name. And not a ton to glean from the poster, but still cool that it came out. And I'm excited about this. We'll get into the trailer here in a moment. Let's see what else. So a few quick things to touch upon. Since we're big Zack Snyder fans here at CAPECAST, we have to touch upon this. It was revealed during press for Army of Thieves that the Army of the Dead sequel is going to be Planet of the Dead. Now, do you have anything that you glean from that title in terms of a direction? Do you think it's like our planet that becomes the, there's two ideas, whether it's like Earth is now the planet of the dead, the zombies, whatnot, or if there is a planet that these zombies came from and ended up on Earth, and it's like a dual. Knowing Snyder, probably is dual. He tends to do things like that. But yeah, I mean, I think we both of us enjoyed Army of the Dead. I have to say that I'm much more excited about Rebel Moon than these Army of the Dead universe connected movies. And it's probably just because I'm not as into the zombie genre. I think Ryan falls in the same category. I enjoy them, but it's just not. Yeah, it's not my it's not a genre that I'm like, chomping at the bit to see more
Yeah.
and more of. So, any other takeaways from Planet of the Dead title drop on your end?
Like you said, I could see it going both ways, and like with Zach, I could see it. I could easily see this being, a completely different movie, no connection whatsoever to Army of the Dead at all. Given the alien stuff that came out in Army, I really don't know. It didn't reveal too much, and he didn't elaborate much in the videos that I saw anyway. The direction that they're going to go, whether it's the continuation of Vanderhoe's story or what. He didn't really say anything.
Well, he did. I think he did. I saw some talking point. It may have been that Q&A that he and Matthias did a couple days ago. Maybe it was yesterday. I can't remember. But where they were talking about, we assume that Vanderhoe was bit by Zeus and will become an alpha. But he was also hinting that Matthias was bit and will become an alpha.
Yeah, he gave 3 different. Yeah, I did see that. He gave 3 different scenarios, where maybe Dieter negotiated his way out of being bit at all. Like I don't know what he would do, but I'd like to see where that story would go. But, and to see Alpha Dieter would be pretty funny.
Alpha Dieter. Yeah, so there are options, but yeah, I mean, I would say that I think it seems like those 2 characters specifically, I mean, they're the ones that are alive at the end to begin. I mean, that's we assume that Dieter is alive. Yeah. I feel like he's a character that, and he even said this at one point, I think it may have been on the Vodka stream, but that he, if you don't see somebody die, it's not a guarantee that they're dead. And usually it's the opposite. It's like if you don't see them die, then they're more than likely alive. So, and we didn't see Dieter die, just saw him get closed up in a safe. That after you've seen Army of Thieves. It is Army. Now, what is it called? Is it Army of Thieves?
Yeah, it's Army of Thieves. which don't tell anybody. I have not seen it yet.
Okay, I've seen it.
Okay. I just haven't had a chance. I would venture to say that
I would venture to say that I think Dieter could get himself out of that safe, just based on not that there's like a reveal or anything that he could do that, but I just feel like if anybody's going to do it, he could figure out a way to reverse engineer and get himself out of a safe.
It was Vanderhoe was in the safe. Dieter pushed him in.
Yeah, he was out.
Right. That's what I was thinking. I was like, whoa. I thought you were giving away something in Army of Thieves. I was like, you son of a...
That's right. Yeah. Well, yeah. So I see what you're saying now when you were saying that he somehow negotiated his way, because my head was in a different space. Yeah.
But I didn't realize that he was as big an actor as he is in Germany. Apparently his last 5 films have been huge blockbusters, number 1.
Yeah.
Movies.
Well, and a director too. He directed a lot. So
I'm excited to see where he goes.
I feel like his presence is one that you want to capitalize. It seems like he's on the rise, star power wise. Yeah. So we'll see. See what happens. But yeah,
I hope so.
Yeah, I was in a completely different. I was thinking that he was the one that he sacrificed himself and closed himself up. But yeah, it was the opposite, the other way around.
I was like, who are you talking about?
Okay. Well, a few other things still in the Snyder verse, so to speak, on the Netflix side of things. He was talking about Zach was talking about Rebel Moon, and that he kind of compared it to. he basically said that it was as big as you can get with this kind of movie. As big as you can make a movie. There it is. The quote's right in front of me. Compared it to Krypton sequence in Man of Steel, which I was happy to hear because I freaking love that sequence.
I did too.
And yeah, I mean, again, this is what I'm most anticipating from him in terms of what he's doing over the Netflix side of things. I mean, obviously, we know that this is a Star Wars idea that he had that didn't get picked up, and so now he's just making his own thing out of it.
Yeah.
And just to see how he differentiates that, knowing that that was its origin, and makes it his own, it's going to be interesting. And speaking of today, just before we got on, it was announced that Sophia Boutella is cast as a lead. Which I'm good with. I think. I mean, I haven't seen a lot of her recent stuff that she's been in, but I did see her in. I know Kingsman, and I didn't see The Mummy. I'm trying to think of something else I would have seen her in.
I didn't see that one either.
But I thought she was great. She had a great presence in Kingsman. That character was really cool.
Blades, yeah.
Old blade feet.
Yep.
But yeah, what do you think about the potential scope of Rebel Moon, comparing it to Krypton sequence, and then this casting?
The Rebel Moon stuff I've been intrigued by. I've always thought that Zach's, the way that his mind works and what he's done in the movies that he's made so far, I just think that I just always thought that he would work great within the Star Wars universe. So
yep. It's a shame
giving it his own take completely without having to have anybody looming over him. Disney, like nobody whatsoever. He can do what he wants. Seems
I also
cool.
think that he unfortunately attaching him as a director to a Star Wars project would just be a PR nightmare, because there's just the public opinion of, for better for worse, people are just gonna automatically just kind of run it into the ground, and it would just be it's the thing that Disney doesn't want to have to deal with, essentially, even if they were behind him on what he wanted to do and liked his movies. I just feel like there's a stigma, for whatever reason, with people associating him with a certain type of movie, and kind of they don't hold that in very high regard, and it's more of a butt of a joke than
and I mean, not to put it in a negative light, but our fan base, the SpiderVerse fan base, hell, we were pushing enough to get his director's cut released. You know what I mean? Like, does Disney really want to piss off that group of people? You know what I mean? Like, that's like, Disney doesn't, and the truth is, Disney doesn't need that. Like, they can just get anybody else to do it and make $1 billion. Like, they don't have to have Zach. That's the sad part of it.
Yeah. And I mean, and then there's also the fact that Star Wars it's an IP that is very precious, and regardless of how you think they've handled it, they can be a little gun shy on letting people, and especially now that they tried to let a director do what he wanted to, and then that kind of backfired.
Yeah, and given how precious the DC intellectual properties were, and some of the liberties that Zach might have taken that we didn't mind, but other people took issue with, I could see why Disney wouldn't want to pull that trigger.
Well, the only difference with the Star Wars thing is there's only one Star Wars. Like, there aren't multiple versions. Like, I mean, I guess if you think about, the legacy books and stuff like that, I guess so now, retroactively, but it is a difference. It's not, you're not going to get, I mean, you should, I guess you can. Okay. Yes. You have gotten different people playing Han Solo, but for the most part, the versions of these characters are the versions. You don't get a rebooted movie or a new take on it down the road like you do with all these comic book characters. So this is one big story that would just continue to evolve, and it's not like it's not like I mean, I guess you can't like well, I don't know. I didn't watch Visions, so I don't know if it's like alternate takes, but it seemed like it was just
It's
alternate styles.
yeah,
stories that
it's
were still
alternate styles. They're not really the ones that I've seen aren't really. There's not the continuity's not there, with the exception of, you know, you have Siths, you have Jedi, you know, like it, you know, the basics are there, but they were given a little more liberty than what you've seen in the, you know, the movies. But but with Rebel Moon, I would not put it past Zack Snyder to somehow incorporate the Army of the Dead universe within Rebel Moon at some point. Like, because if we're going with Alien Origin with the Army of the Dead verse or whatever, Army verse or whatever we're calling it, then I wouldn't be surprised if he teases it at some point in his Rebel
Moon.
Moon
About that
franchise.
as well. I don't know how I feel about it. I guess it just depends
I don't either,
on how it's integrated.
Well, he's crazy enough to do it, and you know.
Yeah, I'm kind of hoping that it's its own thing. Have your Army stuff on, you know, this side of the Netflix, you know, properties, and then have this be its own thing. But you know, who's to say? I mean, it could end up working out.
Oh, well. I don't think there'll be like a major tie-in. I just think that you could maybe hear something at some point in the movie about another planet that, you know, that was attacked by these people, or, you know, this race, you know, something like that, you know,
for sure.
Just a little nod, you know.
Yeah, I can see that for sure. Time will tell, but yeah, I'm excited to see it come to fruition. And now we're actually getting casting, and I'm sure we'll be talking about it a lot more in the coming weeks and months. All right, let's move to trailers.
Let's do it.
All right. So one thing that dropped, I think it was last week after we recorded, was the Cowboy Bebop trailer. Now, I didn't watch the original show, so I don't have a lot of knowledge of that. Have you seen the original series?
I have not.
But I did watch this trailer. I watched it twice, and I dig it. I mean, I dig the style. I dig it feels very like kind of a mixture of like a Western, like a sci-fi Western, with some like noir-ish motifs. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, seems like it's going to be a pretty kinetic franchise. I mean, Al made the Scott Pilgrim reference when he sent it out to the group, which is probably pretty accurate, but that's you know, a lot of people kind of mime that style these days, but I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing.
No,
it's a style that seems to be fitting for a property like this. But yeah, I enjoyed it overall. Again, I know nothing about this franchise, but it's got me hooked.
Yeah, the trailer did what it was supposed to do. It hooked me. Like I'm ready for it. I don't know what's going to happen. I have no clue what this show's about, but like you said, I know Al gave the Scott Pilgrim comparison, but fortunately for Cowboy Bebop, I loved Scott Pilgrim. So
yeah, well, he did too. But
I don't see any reason why I wouldn't love it.
Yeah, same. Another trailer that dropped, Wheel of Time, had another trailer. We've already had one thus far, and another one that kind of just kind of went a little more in depth. This show, when does it come out? It's in December 24th. So it'll be a Christmas Eve show. I talked to my buddy Kevin about this, and he was making a lot of comparisons to I said this apparently wrong on our Dune review, but the Bene Gesserit, the nun type characters, faction, kind of the underground schemers in the Dune story. He described the women in this story, the Wheel of Time, because he's a book reader of the Wheel of Time series, having parallels to them. Now, I don't know. I know that he's expressed like concerns about how they're going to treat the magic with this faction of people. It would be nice if he was here to elaborate, because I can't. I don't really know what exactly that means, but he seemed hopeful based on the trailer. I don't know. I mean, it seems like they're putting in the budget, 10 million plus per episode for this show. And it looks pretty well made. I just don't know. I feel like kind of similarly with Foundation on Apple TV Plus. These shows are kind of feel like attempts to get that Game of Thrones crowd.
Yeah.
There's
a void there there's a void there that somebody needs to scoop up. Yeah.
And I'll talk more about Foundation in a bit, but yeah, Wheel of Time, it looks solid.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not not chomping at the bit, but I'll probably check it out just to see how the first, maybe second episodes, if it hooks me, I'll continue, or I'll, keep up with it. But we'll see. Do you have any thoughts on it in general, or did you even watch it?
I actually did not see the second trailer. The first trailer was good, and I'm interested in the show. It's going to be on Prime. It's a Prime show, right? It's on Amazon.
Yep.
Okay, so it'll be episodic. You won't be able to binge yet. So
honestly, the main selling point for me is Rosamund Pike. She's great, so I'll at least check it out for her. Mm-hmm. So, okay, maybe you did check out this trailer. Speaking of The Witcher, they had another season 2 trailer. Did you watch that?
I did.
Okay, thoughts? Because I didn't, because I haven't even seen the first season, so I just didn't feel like I should watch this if I'm planning on watching it at some point.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend the show for sure. And this trailer did not disappoint. It didn't give away too much, but it lets you know kind of the direction that season 2 is going to take. And Henry Cavill's my guy, man. I'm going to see anything that he's in. So the way I look at it is Netflix has got their claws in Zack Snyder and Henry Cavill. And as much as I'd love to see anything else that they make together on the DC side, I don't know if Netflix is going to let them go. I just and I'm enjoying what they're putting out on Netflix. So I don't know. It sucks. Like it's a double-edged sword. I enjoy what I'm seeing, but I know it's hurting the possibility of seeing anything further in the DC universe. But yeah, I'm excited for the show. Yeah.
Cool. That's good. Yeah, I got to check it out. It's still, it's one of those that it's just on my list. And
like you said, it's
get around to it.
It's more in the vein of Game of Thrones, than, it's set in that same type of time period, and same elements apply for the most part.
Yeah.
So
word.
And Cavill's freaking awesome in it, dude.
Yeah, that's why you're.
Mandy's already trying to buy me a wig. It's getting weird.
Say less. Say less, bro. Say less.
No, like a cosplay thing for real.
Yeah. Okay.
It may venture into other areas.
You said a foreplay thing? Is that what you said?
It's cosplay, but it may end up venturing into other areas of our life. Who knows?
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah. Right.
That's fine. Okay. Last trailer. Book of Boba Fett.
Mm-hmm.
I think this trailer dropped yesterday?
Yes.
Well,
yeah.
This is a series that I've been anticipating because I thought that the reintroduction of this character in Mando was pretty spectacular. And I'm interested to see what kind of take, not necessarily a take, but how much they kind of dive into where exactly. I mean, it seems like it's obviously picking up after he kind of that end credit scene where he kind of takes over Jabba's palace. He and Fennec. But I wonder if there will be any like flashback sequences at all, kind of explaining how he got out of the Sarlacc pit, and that that span of time between him supposedly being dead and now coming back. But yeah, the trailer was cool. Right off the bat, you get that little spider creature that was in was it Return of the Jedi? That's like walking through Jabba's palace as Luke's walking in. Lots of, or not lots of, but a few shots of helmetless Boba, which I mean, I guess you're going to want to do. You got Timur Morrison. You want to similarly how they did with Pedro Pascal, but he doesn't follow that Mando kind of change, just like was it the Night Owls? What are they called? You remember what they're called? The gosh, what is Katie Sackhoff's character's name? Mando. But anyway,
and you guys like scalded me for not knowing it that one time, or not remembering it that one time. Yeah, you and Ryan were aggravating me about it. It was oh God, I was trying to think of who all we were going to be, and now it's gone. Like it's gone.
Well,
That's
anyway,
embarrassing. Anyway, I know you're talking about he's not as strict as some of the.
Well, they don't. Yeah, they take off.
Yeah,
that's a big deal. They take off their helmets, and then it kind of opens up the world of Mandalorians, where you've got these different factions. Some are like super regiment in that, and have different belief systems and things like that. So, and I think they even draw attention to him taking his helmet off in this trailer. Or maybe that's the bounty hunter. Was that the line? I've never seen a bounty hunter remove his helmet or something, and he's like, I'm not a bounty hunter.
He said, I'm not.
But yeah, I mean, Fennec is in this again. I really enjoyed her in Mando, both seasons, and I guess
Bo-Katan. Sorry, dude, it was going to eat me alive. It's Bo-Katan. Yeah, there you go. But yeah, I would imagine that some of the scenes, because obviously we've seen him on The Mandalorian, and his face is all scarred up. So I'd imagine there's got to be some flashbacks at some point in this thing.
It seems like just the idea of this like criminal underbelly in the Star Wars world just is an interesting thing. Yeah. And then kind of just seeing like, where it left off in Mando, with him taking over the throne at Jabba's palace, and you get that little interaction with some of the other, I guess, bounty hunters. And he's like, Jabba would have like dropped you in whatever I can't remember what he calls it in this trailer, but basically that pit.
In his menagerie. Yeah. In his menagerie. Yeah.
Yeah. But he's like, hearing them out at least for a second.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that. That nod. There were several nods in the trailer that were just like, oh yeah, I'm so excited for this show. Like I'm just ready.
Right when that music, man, that motif that they created in Mando for Boba, they're bringing it back, and I think Ludwig Göransson is doing the score for this as well. And then you've got Robert Rodriguez directing. I don't know if he's directing all, but I know he's like behind it in a showrunner capacity. I'm sure he's directing a few, but yeah, that's cool. I'm excited about it.
It seems like such an untapped well, like you were saying, with the underbelly of the Star Wars universe. I'm excited to see where that goes. Like we got little taste of it in The Mandalorian, with the child, when they were trying to, harvest them and sell off parts and things like that. You got kind of that glimpse, but it'll be cool to see where the show goes. I could see it being pretty dark, and I hope it does. it wouldn't
Yeah.
make sense. It would make it better if it was, in my opinion.
Agreed. Well, I kind of buried the lead there on the next trailer, and I think I may have said the last trailer earlier
Yeah,
because
you did. So
I had a page
you
break in my
surprised
show
everybody.
notes. I had a page break and didn't see that it kept going. But yeah, Morbius, which that shot was pretty great. That ending shot of
Yeah,
Morbius.
it was. It was one ugly looking.
And that's one thing. One positive I'll say about this trailer is that the CG and action did feel a lot better in this trailer than it did in that initial one. I mean, that first trailer came out when? It was over a year ago, at least.
God,
now,
it
right?
was. Yeah, it's been a while. It's been a minute. This pandemic has drawn out for so long that I don't know. I've lost all concept of time, but I feel like it was early on.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, this trailer, the original trailer, was pre-pandy. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
But anyway, but yeah, this is another one of those things that just has gotten kicked down the road, and I think now it's slated for January, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I dug the trailer. I just don't know how interested I am in this character, and that could change, obviously. One of the things about Leto playing this role is I'm hit or miss when it comes to Leto. I feel, especially when he's playing like the emaciated version of this character and he's like walking with a cane, it feels like such a Leto role. Like it's very like
Dallas Buyers Clubs or Requiem for Dream.
I'm thinking of like more comical, like on Tropic Thunder with Downey Jr. like doing these like character acting.
Such a method actor.
Yeah, method acting and but I think Leto has moments of brilliance, but it just depends. Like he had a similar, like his role in what was the movie they did? It was earlier this year with Denzel and Rami Malek. He played a similar type of like loserish character that was like down on his luck and had a limp and like just long hair and was
like he went back to that well pretty quick.
So we'll see, but again, I did think this trailer was a lot better, and I thought the action looked good, and then Jared Harris I think is in it, which I love him in anything he's in. So the Tyrese thing is whatever for me. Tyrese is such a whiner. I can't stand him as an actor, especially when he whines about Fast and Furious stuff and campaigning to be Jon Stewart.
He hit that Green Lantern. He hit that Green Lantern drum pretty hard there for a while.
Give me your thoughts about the trailer, and also give me your thoughts about that Venom line at the end.
I actually did not mind the Venom line at the end. I half expected him. when it happened, my first thought was the nightmare sequence. I'm your friend. I'm your friend. Like that, instead of I'm Venom. I'm your friend. But no, I don't know. The trailer itself was good. It was solid. I'm a huge Leto fan. I've liked just about everything that I've seen him in. Lord of War was like one of my favorite movies ever made with him and Nicolas Cage. And I don't know, the Requiem for a Dream. I like that one as well, but some of his weirder stuff. But I hope I'm assuming that it got pushed because No Way Home got pushed and Venom got pushed. Actually Venom got moved up, but No Way Home got pushed. And I would assume there's going to be tie-ins, and Jared Leto even teased in the featurette how, there's a web of possibilities. So I feel like there's going to be some doors opened up in Far From Home that they had to wait on for Morbius. I think
There's some question marks for me in terms of the universe with
Mhm.
the Toby Spider-Man being on the wall, and then having Keaton's Vulture character.
And then
Seemingly,
the Oscorp logo from the Garfield Amazing Spider-Man movies was
yeah. I
on the
wonder.
building.
Yeah, I
You
wonder
know,
if
like,
I wonder
yeah,
if there's. Yeah, it could be since it's happening post No Way Home, but I don't know if that was the intention. I don't know if it was supposed to come out pre
yeah,
No Way Home or post. I
yeah.
thought it was supposed to come out pre, but
I'm not sure. They never. I mean, it was never really given a clear timeline as far as this movie as when it takes place.
well, I
And
mean,
the only thing I
I
can think,
mean, release date wise,
yeah, yeah,
I thought it was supposed to
yeah,
come out before No Way Home originally.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there definitely seems to be like there could be some multiverse stuff that this character ends up getting.
I did. I don't know.
Maybe
I
he
did like
starts
the
off.
fact.
Maybe I mean, it could be kind of cool. If this version is if he exists in the whether it's the originally in the Tom Hardy Venom verse, and
Mhm.
then they get brought over into the Tom Holland verse,
Yeah,
or he starts off in the I don't know how, like, it's almost like how in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, when there is this merging, there's like the timelines are all kind of mixing together, and
yeah,
so
yeah,
all their um it kind of creates this like hodgepodge of
yeah.
universes.
Like a ripple that
um
goes through, and the cars change, and the
yeah, yeah, yeah.
street lights. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
I
I
know what you're
wonder
talking
if
about.
something like that ends up happening to where it's like
And
this, like,
I mean, I'm not. This is just pure speculation on my part, but given some of the comments that like Tom Holland's made on this being treated as the end of the franchise, plus what we've seen and heard, as far as Venom, Let There Be Carnage with the end credit scene, um, what we've seen so far in the Morbius trailer, it almost leads me to believe that Spider-Man No Way Home is going. This is just me, but it almost feels like it's going to end with those universes merging to an extent, and Tom Holland's Spider-Man, and those main characters transferring over to that Sony side and no longer being a part of the Marvel universe.
right.
I don't know that that's going to happen, but
I think
I
that's exactly what's happening.
yeah, I mean,
um
I mean, with his comments, I don't think he's done playing the role by any means. I mean,
no,
he's too young to be done with it, and I mean, you don't look a gift horse in the mouth or whatever, but
I think that they are teeing this up for Sinister Six,
mhm.
Sony universe exclusively.
Yeah, I think so too. And if it's done properly, they'll make a killing off of this. I think they'll make a killing either way, but
Yeah,
at least off of one movie. It may not happen after that, but they'll get one shot.
indeed. Well, yep, that was Morbius. I think it's
Yeah,
dropping January 28th, if I'm not
but
mistaken.
yeah,
That's what I have
I'm
written
a
down.
huge Leto guy, so yeah, I'm
Cool.
excited.
Keep an eye out for it. Hopefully, it doesn't get pushed.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
All right, watches of the week. Are you still tracking on the same stuff as last week? Watching anything new?
Titans is done. Last
Okay.
week was the finale of it, the season finale. But yeah, Doom Patrol, still solid as ever. I freaking love that show. It was actually a really awesome episode. You got to see some of the characters who you got to see Matt Bomber, Brendan Fraser
Yeah, I saw a
as
screenshot.
themselves. Yeah, and that was really cool that they got to share a moment together on screen that they haven't had since day one. Like they've been filming the show, and I watched a little featurette where they talked about how they felt like a family this whole time, but a lot of Bomber and Fraser's stuff was, it's all, in a sound studio. They never even walked on set. So
Yeah.
it was cool to see their characters.
Wasn't
interact.
Fraser in the first season as the race car driver?
In a flashback episode to his injury, but because he wakes the character, his character wakes up as a robot. That's how it starts.
Yeah.
And then he kind of looks back and figures, it kind of pieces together what happened with him. But it was just a really cool episode this week. Because some of the episodes have felt quarantine-y, social distancing. You know what I mean? Like that you can.
I've been looking for
you
that
can tell
a lot
that
in movies.
Yeah, and honestly, that was something that I noticed, and I did finally finish Dune. That was something I kind of noticed in Dune some too. There was a lot of people standing really far away from each other, during parts of that as well. But Doom Patrol, dude, I'm telling you, you and Brandon, I know that I've pumped, and I will say Titans.
Am Brandon. My name's Brandon.
I mean, Brandon, you and Ryan. I know that I know that I pumped Titans, but it really kind of crapped the bed there towards the end of this past season, and I didn't enjoy it nearly as much. But Doom Patrol takes what it is and just rolls with it, and it freaking works, man. I mean, it really does. The cast is awesome.
Nice.
So I highly recommend it. And then Young Justice, it's still, I don't know. Young Justice it's not to the standards of previous seasons. It's not living up to what I remember so far. We're only like 3 episodes in, so
yeah.
Still a lot of time to make up ground, but
word. I got you. Well, you did mention that you finished Dune.
I did.
And what do you think?
I mean, I loved it. I thought it was great. I've only watched it by myself, so I'm hoping to get back in there and Mandy and me, check it out together. She never saw the original, so like she has no idea what's going on or why she should watch it. So it's kind of hard for me to describe,
I didn't either. I didn't see the original and didn't read the book.
My dad was a huge, what's weird is, Dad was all about sports 24/7, but he was a Trekkie. He owned all the cuts of all the different versions of the Star Wars movies, when they came out with the, digitally enhanced with extended scenes and all that stuff. We had all those. I had all the seasons of Star Trek, the TV show, the movies, Dune, like that. I grew up on all that stuff. So I was waiting on it, since then, but the movie was really, really good. It's hard sometimes for those movies to pull me in and to make me feel emotionally vested, but some of those scenes, some of those deaths, some of those moments, like, hit me all up in the feels. You know what I mean? Like it was.
Yeah.
I was very vested, I guess you'd say.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. Which we did a full review. Check that out on the channel. We put it up yesterday or the day before. But yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. And I've seen it twice now, and I think Melissa and I are going to sit down and watch it. She hasn't watched it yet, so I think we're going to watch it this week. But yeah, and it seems to be one of those movies that continues to improve on repeat viewings. At least it did for me on my second viewing. So I'm excited to see it again. Definitely got to see it a couple more times before it leaves HBO Max.
Yeah.
But one thing that I have been watching, sorry, Alan, have you watched anything else? I didn't want to jump before you finish.
No, nothing CAPECAST related anyway. No.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, one thing that I did pick back up on is Foundation. I don't know how I feel about this show. I really appreciate and love the production value and the characters for the most part, but that's also one of the problems is they're There are a lot of characters, a lot of branching storylines that are set years apart. They jump around place to place, time period to time period at a moment's notice. And it gets a little convoluted because it's hard to really, it's not necessarily hard to track on things, but it's hard to stay interested. Because I feel like they're building to something, but until they get to that something, it's just a lot of like plotting and I don't know. I'm still gonna keep with it. I'm 5 or 6 episodes in. And that's the thing is the first 2 episodes, you have this set of characters, you stick with them, and then it jumps to a completely different set of characters, and then it jumps to like it's hard to stay invested because you can't really pick a set of characters to really track with consistently so far. But it seems like they're merging a lot of this stuff together based on the last episode I saw, which will be good, I think. But I know that it got renewed for a second season. And I'm just thinking to myself, I just don't feel like casual audiences would have, knowing how much is out there to watch, I don't feel like there's enough here to grip people to keep them going week to week to warrant a second season renewal based on viewership, unless it was renewed out of obligation because it's a big property that they have a lot invested in. And I'm sure this first season was pretty expensive. There's a lot of money on screen. It's beautiful. I just don't know. I mean, this is based on source material. Isaac Namanoff or so, I don't, again, I'm not a book reader. I don't know, but it's Isaac something. Somebody can let me know in the comments. But yeah, there's a lot of great things to mine here, but I'm curious if they're going to bring it together in an interesting way. Because right now it just, I'm not to the point where I could like push it on a lot of people. I could say, I think you would enjoy it, okay, Alan, but I can't push it on people that are like, it's one of those things where because time is so limited and valuable, it's not something to be like, you have to watch this. It's not there. Not yet, at least. But it's solid. And I think the production value and the locales and set design, character design, right now outshines everything else, which is not the best compliment in terms of, and there's story elements. Like there's some really cool like lore here, but it just, I don't know if it's the juice is worth the squeeze just yet, because I'm feeling myself getting a little fatigued with it, and I hate that that's the case, because I'm only halfway through it. So
yeah, your enthusiasm towards the show so far has kind of got me wanting to watch it. So I'm like, damn, I shouldn't have heard what you just said. But no, I'm gonna give it a shot.
I was pretty high on the first 2 episodes.
Yeah.
But it just has taken such a detour in terms of who it's focusing on. I will say though that the Lee Pace side of the story is the most intriguing element so far, and they have kind of like injected these moments with those characters. Basically, I mean, this is not really a spoiler, but Lee Pace plays, and the other 2 people that are part of this, they're called Empire, which is like basically the king. There was this original ruler over the galaxy, whatever, I don't know, kingdom, galaxy, whatever. And so he ended up cloning himself, and so ever since he's died, he's had clones, and they've always been 3 of them. The oldest of the clones is called Brother Dusk. The middle, which is the actual active leader, is Brother Day, and then the kid version is Brother Dawn, and they just continue to cycle once they've ended their run, so to speak, of where they're actually useful and can function because they have an actual finite lifespan. Then they just kill the old one. They basically incinerate them, and another clone is born, and this baby is, and it just continues. And so you get to see multiple versions of these characters throughout this because it spans 100 years so far, or so. So that part of it's super interesting, and I love the idea. I love this whole the idea of this of the hierarchy of these three and the back and forth that they have. They're all essentially the same person, but seeing how each version kind of changes throughout the years, just based on it's like a nurture versus nature type argument where they've grown up under different circumstances and conditions, and so therefore their opinions change on different things in their world, and their whole outlook on how to rule and that kind of thing. So that part is the super interesting part.
It is
but it's
I like that.
The other parts that are not quite as strong. So I'm waiting for things to converge, and hopefully it makes for a good latter half of the series. So anyway,
cool.
That is Foundation. It's on Apple TV Plus, and I think that's all I have watched the week wise. And then same as last week, we still have that same slate, but Eternals is opening this week. Which I was mistaken last week when I thought it was opening last week. And then, as I mentioned last week, Hawkeye and Spider-Man No Way Home, which we've been kind of talking about as well. So if you do see Eternals, be sure to let us know what you think. Maybe we'll get, if Britt ends up seeing it, we can get him to come on and do a solo review Ryan may end up seeing it. Who knows? I could see him making the time to see it. I don't know if you're going to see it or not in theaters.
I'm up in the air. I know that we're in the process of purchasing tickets to go see Ghostbusters Afterlife. It's actually comes out the Friday before we leave for Universal. So we're going to try to go see it that night and then leave the next day to go to Universal Studios. So
gotcha.
I don't know. I don't know that we're kind of, I hadn't really done the theater thing, since forever. So
sure.
I don't know. I was supposed to go see Dune with you guys and kids.
I remember.
I
remember.
But
I remember you not going.
Yeah. I remember not going too.
JK, LOL. Cool. Well, I think that's probably all we got tonight. Next week, hopefully Ryan will be back. Seems like I just checked. Seems like the Braves are doing good.
Yeah.
So
doing good. I've been going back and forth. So
yeah, nice. Well, Alan, I appreciate you joining.
Yeah, dude.
As is indicated by your hat, you are a Braves fan. So I appreciate you jumping on, holding down the fort.
Yeah,
I'm not solo.
I'm not locked down in solitude like Ryan and watching the game. I can still I'm a functioning Braves fan.
That's great. That's that's a healthy relationship. So it's good. We'll pray for Ryan. Hopefully he gets his priorities straight. So
there we go.
Anyway, let's tell people where they can find us, and then we'll get out of here.
I want you to do me a favor. I want you to tell all your friends about me.
What are you?
All right, so as I mentioned at the top of the show, you can find us on Twitter, CAPECAST specifically, at CAPECAST Show, and then everything under the CiNEMACHiNE umbrella, Criterion Corner and CiNEMACHiNE. You can find it at cinemachinepod.com. You can find links to our Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Patreon. Please be sure to hit the subscribe button here on YouTube and the notification bell so you know when we're doing this live. And I guess if there's nothing else to plug. Do you have anything you need to plug, Alan?
No.
Oh man,
I was gonna.
I should have got your picture for Halloween and posted that.
We actually got. I think we had like 3 or 4 retweets on it, and
Actually,
it kind of blew up. So
let me.
I got some physicals if we're doing that, but
Oh yeah. Sorry, do that real quick.
actually, if you look, I got Darth Vader's hand busting out of the wall back there now.
Nice.
And it's supposed to be on automatic, so it's supposed to have lit up at some point, and it hadn't. So I'm pretty pissed off about that. I've been waiting on it to light up, and it didn't do it. But I know that you would have. I know that this guy, right
nice.
here. Oh yeah. It's #1 variant cover, Batman '89.
Sweet.
And then I got DC versus Vampires #1 came out this week, variant cover. So I know there's a lot of glare. I got Task Force Z variant cover #1. It's Bane, Red Hood, Katana, and a few others. Looks like a Halloween thingamajigger, and that's it. So yeah, nice. I bought Cal the newsstand version, so that way I could read it and mess his up and keep my variant collector's cover in pristine tin condition. Father of the year, right there.
Good on you. Hey, what's your Twitter handle? I can't find it on because I'm not logged in.
Alan Hicks 3.
It's 3, all one word.
Mm-hmm. The number 3.
This way. There we go. All right, got it. Right, and then share this joker to the screen.
There's a good bit on there. So
boom.
Whoop.
So this is your this was Alan's family and his son. I joked and said that your son was begrudgingly taking this picture and rolling his eyes.
You can actually see if you look in the window in the up above Cal's head, you can actually see Trey taking the picture. I told Mandy, I was like, "Oh, he's in there anyway, even if he doesn't want to be."
Nice. Well, you guys did great costumes all around.
Thank you. It's totally wasted in our neighborhood. It's about 85% retiree in our subdivision, so they had no idea who we were. But come the once we start back on the con circuit, we'll get plenty of high fives on that stuff for sure.
Yeah.
So,
well, my daughter did she was even a narrower lane than you, and yours is pretty broad as far as Suicide. It's a pretty big movie.
Yeah.
There's not many characters bigger than Harley Quinn specifically, so I don't. That's at least something people should have latched onto. Luna was Reagan from A Quiet Place, the girl of the family.
Nice. Yes.
And so that's a very specific lane that nobody picked up on.
That's really cool. That's really cool. I like that.
But yeah.
On a side note, speaking of Harley Quinn, Mandy's tattoos that she was sporting in the picture, she had the heart on her face and the Daddy's Little Monster on her chest.
Yeah.
Those were done by me. My first attempt at tattooing in years.
Real tattoos?
I was a tattoo artist before, before I got a big boy job. But no, those were done with a mascara pen. But it was the first time I've done anything remotely close to tattooing in a long time. Actually, she walked around with that on her chest, and she was like, I kind of like this.
Yeah.
I mean, she really was. So.
Nice.
It was funny.
Got her hooked. All right, man. Well, once again, thanks for jumping on and holding on the fort with me. And hopefully, again, Ryan will be back next week. And you guys be sure to tune in this Thursday for CiNEMACHiNE. We may have a special episode coming up on the CiNEMACHiNE side that we got to figure out logistics, but that should be pretty fun. We'll probably hint at that a little more on CiNEMACHiNE Thursday night. But yeah, appreciate you stopping by, and we'll see you next time on CAPECAST. Thanks.